Hello everyone. Are you confused by what cryptocurrency is and what it does? Well, be confused no more because today's episode is titled Cryptocurrency Basics. Thank you for joining me today for episode number 2 of Media Channels, streaming from Thunder Bay, Ontario on this Midsummer's Day. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Multee Media Corp, our YouTube channel, and on Twitter at twitter.com/Multimedia. And due to a technical problem, I won't be streaming on Facebook Live. I will be streaming on YouTube for the time being. So today's joke is, what do you call a person with no body and only a nose? I will post the answer at the end of this live stream. For those who are watching live, you can ask me a question related to the topic in the Facebook comments, upvote the question that you want answered, or ask your question on the YouTube live stream page during the video. The answer will be at the end of the live stream. So today's episode is Cryptocurrency Basics. And what is cryptocurrency? Is it like real money? Is it a physical coin? Is it like paper money? Does it exist out of time and reality? Maybe not. Does it even exist at all? These are some interesting questions that people have asked me over the past. And to tell you the truth, it is a little bit of all of the above. It can actually be a physical coin, but it does primarily exist only on the internet. But you can buy physical coins as well, and if you buy a physical coin, it'll actually have a special long code inside of it. It can also be like paper money, but the difference there is that your code is actually printed on a flap on the inside of your wallet, which is actually where you store your money. And does it really exist? In a way, it doesn't really exist, but for the most part it exists in the minds of the various creators. And it's a lot like paper money in that sense, in that the value is given to it is based on what people are willing to determine what it is worth. So paper money wouldn't have any value if the governments didn't assign an arbitrary value to what it's worth, and to assuming that the people in the country are willing to use it. As well, cryptocurrencies, they're basically essentially digital encrypted ledgers. So as you know, ledgers are basically just spreadsheets, and it's what bookkeepers and accountants use. As well, cryptocurrency, it is a system of encrypted transactions. And basically the transactions go back and forth in digital signals, and they're all encrypted. So the numbers and the characters of, let's say, the transaction are all garbled up into random order in a specific algorithm. And as well, cryptocurrency generally works by having a private and a public key. It's the same way that secure websites works if you're on a shopping cart somewhere. And an analogy I found on the internet that may be the best way to explain it, it's like a padlock. So in a padlock, you have the padlock and then you have the key. So with cryptocurrency, or anything encryption in general, is that you have a private key and you also have a public key. Okay? So the public key is what everybody sees, okay? And I'll just show you quickly here. At the top of this, up here, is the public key, and there's a QR code here, so you don't have to type it into your computer or device. And then you have a private key, which would be on the inside of this particular wallet. There's actually nothing in this wallet, but the private key is something that only the owner should have, and it needs to be kept secure. Okay, so the private key, again, it's a long string of numbers and characters and only the owner can access that private key. Okay, cryptocurrencies as well. You have to store your coins in a crypto wallet. Each coin has its own crypto wallet. There are some Multee wallets out there as well to store your currency. You can actually also store them on exchange, which I don't recommend. But I will show you what a crypto wallet looks like. So the Multee wallet looks like this. So this particular one is called Coinomy, and you see at the top it has exchange, so you can actually exchange coins right in the wallet. You have Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, some other coins in there such as Dash. There's a whole ton of coins you can actually store it in this particular wallet, and then you have your balance up here of each particular coin and your list of your transactions. So if you want to send somebody some coins or receive coins, they would be in here. And again, you got pay to, and then you would just send the amount right there. Okay, so that's the Coinomy wallet. It's one that I actually use myself. I tend to like it. As for the coins themselves, the oldest coin that we have is actually Bitcoin. You probably already know that. It's been around since 2009, and at the time of its inception, it was worth a fraction of a cent. So you could buy, initially when they were mining thousands and thousands and probably millions of this particular Bitcoin before it became popular, and it was easy to purchase as well. Other older coins that were around, not as long as Bitcoin, but that when Bitcoin started to take off, other coins started to jump into the foray as well. So we have Ethereum. There was actually Ethereum Classic, which is where it started back in 2013. You have Litecoin, which started back in 2011, which is a direct offshoot of Bitcoin, except it uses a different technology than Bitcoin to do the same thing. There was Monero, 2014. One of my favorites is Dogecoin, which started in 2013. Vertcoin in 2014, and many others. But these are the ones that are still kicking around and doing half decently. And actually, Dogecoin has gone up a lot since 2013 as well. Other popular coins that you may see on that may be talked about or popular are Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, which is a fork of Bitcoin, which is a direct offshoot. I won't explain exactly what happened there, but basically the coin split into two. The original Bitcoin split into two. There's Stellar, IOTA, Dash, and so on. And to tell you the truth, there's thousands and thousands of coins, many of which are simply scams or tokens that were just trying to scam people. And a lot of them also never took off, and they no longer exist, or they exist basically in someone's computer and no one really else deals with it. Another question that I'm asked on a regular basis is, how do I get cryptocurrency? Well, you get cryptocurrency by trading it on virtual exchanges. Some of the exchanges are GDAX, which used to be called Coinbase, recent name change. There's CEX.io, Quadriga CX, which is in Canada, which I'll actually show you here. I have a screenshot, or I have their website up here. Okay, so that's Quadriga. This is where I do most of my trading. Actually, I think there's only two in Canada that you can do for exchanging from regular currency, Canadian dollars, to Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin. And actually, it looks like they have some other pairs there as well, Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, and so on. Okay. There are also exchanges called, or what I call them is coin-only exchanges. So you can actually do an exchange between, let's say, Bitcoin and Ethereum, or you can do an exchange between Ethereum and Dogecoin and Litecoin, and so on. They do charge a small transaction fee for that. But I mean, if you don't want to go through a regular exchange, this is an easy way to do it as well. And this brings me to how all this cryptocurrency stuff actually works and why it works. So if you want to look at it this way, cryptocurrencies are a lot like a stock share rather than a currency, though originally its purpose was to be a currency so that you could buy products such as pizza or cars or whatever it was. There's some big ticket items you can still buy with Bitcoin, some bigger transactions. For the smaller stuff like pizza, you would never use Bitcoin because, for one, the transaction times are horrendous. By the time the transaction was verified, you would have long done eating the pizza. Smaller coins like Dogecoin, Redcoin, and I think Ethereum is still somewhat fast in its transaction times as well. So you could probably use those as currencies, but nobody really does so much anymore. With Redcoin, that's considered a tipping coin. I mean, that's something that people do on Reddit. So you just tip a few Redcoin when they like a comment. Cryptocurrencies are coins. They also have to be mined or minted. So the task of finding or creating them. So most coins have to be mined to create them. And the value of these coins is based on how much, generally speaking, how many there are in existence and what someone is willing to pay for it. So Bitcoin, there's not a lot in existence, so the price is up. There's other coins like Dogecoin where there's billions and billions of these coins, so the price is a lot lower. And some other things. If the technology is good, then you will also find that the price of the coin goes up. A lot of times price will simply go up too because of if it's a popular coin or if there's some good news around it. Sometimes coins will also be more popular if it's advertised, and that's pretty much what determines the value of the coin. All cryptocurrencies, they have a blockchain. So a blockchain is basically the digital ledger for mostly economic transactions. There are some uses for blockchain outside of cryptocurrency, and the blockchain is basically just your spreadsheet, long ledger of dates, times, transactions, and what the transaction was basically. The spreadsheet or the blockchain is distributed among tens to millions of computers worldwide. I mean, depending on the coin, you have big farms of Bitcoin operations around the world, sucking up electricity, and then you have smaller coins which don't really farm. They can be mined on a regular computer with a decent graphics card, and the more that the coin is mined, they tend to move off of the computer and onto what's called ASICs, so ASICs, and they're basically integrated circuits that are specialized for just mining cryptocurrency, and they're a lot smaller, but they do cost a lot, but the electricity is a lot less. Crypto or the blockchain is a peer-to-peer network, or cryptocurrency is peer-to-peer, so that means that one computer talks to another, and that one talks to another computer, and it talks to another, and so on and so on and so on. So millions of computers could be connected in a spider web like fashion, and they all talk to each other in various ways. And the blockchains themselves, they basically exist on people's hard drives, because the blockchains, especially Bitcoin, is huge. I don't know what it is today, but we're talking about multiple gigabytes, and some of these blockchains won't fit on a standard size 4 or 8 gigabyte USB stick. They start to get really large. So it's not something that you would carry around on your phone or anything like that. Each block of the blockchain actually contains information about the coin and the history of the transaction in that particular time frame. So each block is like a box or a group of transactions during a time frame. So we'll say, let's say 10 minutes. So all the transactions that happened within 10 minutes would be in that particular block of the blockchain. And that's why it's called blockchain, because it goes from block to block to block like a chain. As well, each block has to be verified by multiple computing devices before it can be considered a legitimate block of information as well. So if there's a problem with the network, what's called a 51% attack, where 51% of the computing power is owned by one particular person. They can essentially overtake the whole network and decide what goes and what is worth what. So that's something that has to be taken into account, and to be very careful that no one person can have control of the entire network, because then the other side, or the 49%, basically have no say on what is in that particular ledger. So they could fake transactions and whatnot. And there's been a couple forks over the years, hard forks, which are unintended splits in the blockchain. So you have one group of people going this way and one group of people going this way, and this happened with Bitcoin a number of times already, where it was split off into Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and I don't even know how many others have tried to split it. And then there's soft forks, which are basically developers who intentionally change the wallet and the mining structure, or how the coin gets mined and how transactions are processed, intentionally, so that it can improve the network. And these are planned out months and months and months ahead, so that nobody's left on the wrong side of the ledger, basically. As well, without the miners, or someone, and some coins they actually have staking, without these miners, there would be no transactions and no computing power to keep the coin alive. So if there was no miners, the coin is essentially dead and it's worth nothing. No one's can be able to do transactions. So the miners are very important. Without the miners, there's nothing. And miners, they can only verify the transactions. They are responsible for an accurate ledger. Okay, so if the ledger is not accurate, then you have a major problem, and people start losing money, and really bad things start to happen. And I do have a graphic here. Well, actually, it's a printout. So this is, I printed this out. It's from BlockGeeks. Okay, it's just a website, and actually I can pull this up on the internet here. BlockGeeks. So let's get this going here. Okay, so basically how this is just a short explanation of how it works. So someone requests a transaction, and it goes to the next stage. The requested transaction is broadcast to a point-to-point network consisting of computers known as nodes. So each computer is a node. Could be actually ASICs or computing devices. Doesn't have to be a computer per se. The validation happens on the network. Validates a transaction and the user status using known algorithms. So there's an algorithm that determines whether it's valid. And after a verified transaction, it can involve, a verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency, contracts, records, or other information. So for the contract's sake, for Ethereum tokens, they can build, well, Ethereum in general, it can integrate contracts right into the, it can record contracts right into the transaction itself. And then once it's verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions to create a new block of data for the ledger. And then it goes over to, the new block is then added to the existing blockchain in a way that is permanent and unalterable. And then the transaction is complete. So you've either sent the money, or sent the coins, or received the coins. So this is basically how, this is what miners do. But how does mining actually work? Mining is the basic task of finding the next block, basically, in the blockchain. So essentially the miners are trying to solve a cryptocurrency puzzle by using a mathematical algorithm. And it's a very complicated algorithm. The miners will receive a reward in coins once they solve the puzzle of that block. And for some coins, you can't actually mine the coin yourself. You have to join a pool, a miners pool, which is made up of how many thousands of people, and they all combine their computing power to find the next block. And then when the next block is solved, then they split the number of coins, the reward, with all the people involved in it. Mining difficulty will actually, so every time a block is solved, after a while the mining difficulty gets harder over time, and it takes longer to generate new coins, and each block is just generally harder to solve, and the electricity consumption starts to go up. So you may have heard some news stories about how Bitcoin farming is using tons of electricity. I mean, it's not exactly as bad as they say it is, but it is at a point where mining Bitcoin is very it costs a lot of electricity to mine. So being up in, let's say, Iceland might be a good thing for some of these Bitcoin mining farms, where the electricity is cheaper, and the cold weather helps to keeps the mining operation cool, so that you're not spending a lot on air conditioning to even further up your electricity bill. As well as you can get Bitcoin from ATMs as well, or an exchange. I have another photo here of a Bitcoin. Wait a sec. Okay, I have a Bitcoin machine here. Let's just see. So it's a Bitcoin machine. So you basically put in your debit, credit card, and I'm not sure if this particular machine distributes physical Bitcoins, but this is how you would buy Bitcoins through the machine. Most people don't use the machine. I guess some people in California will use the machines. There isn't any around here that I'm aware of. But you would essentially use an exchange for most of your trades. So what would you actually do with your coins? Well, for starters, you need to store them in your wallet. Without a cryptocurrency wallet, you can't really do anything. So your wallet is a lot like a regular wallet, in that you store, but you're not storing the actual amount of coin, you're actually storing a code. So for instance, I have, again, my paper wallet here. I could load this up with, let's say, 100 coins, and that would be worth whatever the coin is worth times the number of coins on this wallet. So I could load this wallet up, but I couldn't use this. I mean, in theory, I could go somewhere that accepts Dogecoin and buy a pizza, but the problem is you would have to unload the whole wallet and not just partial wallet. So this particular wallet you wouldn't use for day-to-day transactions. This is a cold wallet. You would use this for storing your coins for an extended period of time, because to get the coins out, you have to flip the flap over on this particular one, and there's a private key, and then you import that private key into a desktop wallet, and then you can do your transactions from there. But you can still send transactions to the paper wallet, you just can't take them out very easily. So that's what makes this particular method secure. I have another picture of a wallet here somewhere. Okay, well, there's the Coinomy wallet that I showed you at the beginning. I might be able to find you a wallet for Bitcoin wallet. Let's do a search for that. Okay, so let's bring up the Bitcoin wallet here. Okay, so let's view this wallet. Okay, so actually this is a Bitcoin wallet that you can get on the Google Play Store if you have an Android phone. So basically it has your transactions. It's a lot like the Coinomy wallet, except it's specific to Bitcoin as well. And then there's let's see if I can find the Bitcoin desktop wallet. Okay, so we'll go to the official Bitcoin website here, and the wallet, all wallets. So actually they have a whole ton of wallets here. Where's the main one? So you could oh, Bitcoin Core, here it is. So Bitcoin Core wallet, and we'll go to Google Images. And okay, so this is not a bad this is not a bad picture here. Okay, view image. So this is basically what the Bitcoin desktop wallet looks like. So this is how, if you're going to do mining, you would need something like this on your computer to be able to receive the rewards from Bitcoin mining. What else would you do with your coins? Well, you could also you're not going to purchase much with Bitcoin other than it's a store of value right now. Dogecoin and Redcoin are better for purchasing goods. You can buy stuff on what's like Kijiji sites. Some of the stuff, you're not going to get a lot of stuff on those sites, but you'll get fair decent stuff on there. And then you could just use it as a regular savings account as well, and that's what I basically do. I have a number of coins, and basically I use them as a way to store money and to hopefully for them to increase over time. As well, some general advice I'm going to give you about cryptocurrencies in general is that you should never store your coins on an exchange for any length of time that is longer than a transaction you want to do. So for instance, if I wanted to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, I could go to Quadriga CX, I could wire them $100 and then buy $100 of Bitcoin, assuming there's $100 worth on the exchange to buy, which there most definitely is. And then I could, once the transaction's complete, I could simply leave it on the exchange, or I could transfer it to my personal wallet. So the reason why you don't want to leave it on the exchange is because the exchanges actually get hacked quite often. So if I had a lot of money and I decided to invest $50,000 into Litecoin, for instance, or Dogecoin, and the exchange got hacked, there's a good chance I'm going to lose that $50,000. Most of these exchanges will not insure what's on your, or cannot, they can't even verify basically where the money's going. And because Bitcoin and these coins are very anonymously based, there's no way for them to track it down. So basically, if the exchange gets hacked, you might as well just count your money goodbye. It's down the toilet at that point. So make sure that you transfer your coins to a wallet on your desktop, a paper wallet, okay, or on your phone, tablet. If you're gonna put it on your phone, I don't recommend putting a lot on your phone. Maybe just if you want to do daily transactions with it. Simply because you can lose your phone, and if it's not password protected properly, they can get in and basically get all your money. Someone could hack your phone in theory as well. So the phone, you don't want to keep a lot in there, but keeping a little bit in there is probably okay as well. The phone wallets are generally pretty secure. The Coinomi wallet, I've never heard of. I think there's been one issue with security issue with Coinomi, but I don't think anyone lost any money there, and that was already 3 or 4 years ago now, so it's kind of a moot point. So that's what you want to do with your coins. Keep them safe. Don't give anyone your password. For wallets like Coinomi, they have actually a lot of wallets now, they have what's called a passphrase. So it's basically random words, usually about I think 18 words or something like that. So basically you would write those words down on a piece of paper, store them in your safe or somewhere that no one's going to get at them. So if you ever did lose your phone, then at least you can get your coins back. So as well, never give out your private key or your passphrase to anyone, okay? Because if they get that, obviously, then they get your money. And don't believe what people say when they say that Bitcoin or these coins are pyramid schemes. It is true that there are some scammy coins out there that basically will take your money and then basically run with it. And a lot of them are based on tokens, basically. So it's a promise that, hey, we're going to make lots of money on this coin, so buy into this particular thing. So that is a pyramid scheme, but majority of the coins, like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and the top ones like Ripple, they are not they're not pyramid schemes, so they don't operate like this, right? There's no one on top. It's basically sideways. So if I had 100 coins, the next person had 100 coins, it's all worth the same amount. So the person at the top that doesn't get $10, while I would get $1, right? So it's not a pyramid scheme whatsoever. People will buy into it and use it as a store of value. So pyramid schemes are different, right? So it's not a pyramid scheme, just so you know. And there's another misconception as well, that it's only used by individuals who are doing illegal activities. Sure, back in the day, back in 2011, there was a website called, I believe, Silk Road, and there was basically a front for basically all the drug runners, and there was drug transactions happening on the website, and then they would do all their transactions with Bitcoin. So that was actually shut down a number of years ago already. It's not to say that there isn't still some bad apples out there who are using Bitcoin or Litecoin, Ethereum to do illegal transactions, but for the most part, people are above board at this point, and you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. And as well, you know, just keep everything safe, right? Bitcoin is a bit like, or cryptocurrency is a bit like the Wild West right now, so you have to be a little bit careful with how you're handling your money and your wallets and whatnot. So if you're doing a transaction, you got to double check, triple check, maybe even 4 times what address you're sending to, because if you send it to a transaction to address and you happen to do a typo or something, then you're probably out of luck, because you're probably not going to see that money again. So that's why they have things like QR codes, so that you get a very accurate scan of the number that's your public wallet address, right? Okay. And then why did I get into cryptocurrency? Well, I got into cryptocurrency because obviously I wanted to make a few dollars, right? So I wanted to pay off my mortgage. I wanted to pay some bills. You know, I wanted to see if I could get rich quick. Well, I didn't get rich quick. I wasn't expecting to. But originally I got into Dogecoin back in 2014 when it was still really low. Dogecoin was a very fun community, a lot of positive people in there, a lot of kind of jokes flying around. Dogecoin, they sponsored a NASCAR event. They sponsored some events, I think a water project in Africa and some other little things where they donated a bunch of coins to these projects to help out the people in need. So yeah, Dogecoin was really quite something that was interesting to me. It started off as a joke coin, kind of pitting against Bitcoin as a joke, but then it kind of took off from there. People started using it. Now it's worth, at the time of this writing, I think it's, you know what, I can look it up. I'm going to show you another site that I frequent as well. It's called Crypto Market Cap. Let's bring it up on the screen here. So coin market cap, you can see the prices there, the volume circulates price. So it's a lot like a stock. So if I go down to Dogecoin, I don't know where it is on the list. Okay, so Dogecoin is at 36th place right now for the world market cap. So it's this is in US dollars, so you're looking at a third of a cent. In Canadian dollars, that would be almost a fifth of a cent. So and then you have the graph there. So that's actually over the last few days been doing pretty good. Its all-time high was, I think I saw it up at 1.2 cents or something like that. And that was back in January before everything started going bad with the stocks and the crypto coins. So everything's been down a lot since January, but there has been some uptick in the market since then as well. Okay, so let's see if there's any questions here on Facebook. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so there's no questions on Facebook here, and I'm not seeing any questions on the Google dashboard. So we'll wrap it up there. And to end this video, I'm going to answer the joke. What do you call a person with no body and only a nose? What do you call a person with no body and only a nose? The answer is nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the answer. All right, well, obviously that is the answer. But anyways, thanks for joining me today. For more of these videos, don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel using the icon on the top left if you're watching this from YouTube. In our next episode, I'll be starting a mini series on cell phones and how to get better video and photography from your cell phone, and basically just all the technical bits and pieces to do that. So, and as Trudy would say, this is one person kind's opinion on your digital world around you. Have a good afternoon, and I hope to see you soon.